Now I am going to recite a story from Mahabharata. After Dronacharya was killed, Asvathamma, Dronacharya's son, became very angry. He was thinking that his father was killed unfairly by the Pandavas. He wanted to take revenge. To avenge the death of his father, he collected a very big army and came to the battlefield. What happens next is explained in the story below. Asvatthama baffled. Again Lord Krishna came to Pandavas' rescue. As the Kauravas raced back to battle, intent on avenging Drona's death, the sun fell toward the west. Asvatthama, having sworn to Duryodhana that he would annihilate both Drishtadyumna and the Panchala army, thought of Narayana weapon. Coming to within half a mile of the Pandavas, he placed the celestial arrow on his bow and recited the sacred incantations to invoke the missile. A deep roar came from the sky as Drona's son summoned the weapon. Tens of thousands of fiery arrows appeared on the battlefield and flew toward the Pandava army like sun rays. Countless red-hot iron balls fell from the sky like lustrous meteors. Razor-shaped discuses, axes, flaming spears, and spiked maces filled the air. The Kauravas could not perceive their foes as the hail of missiles fell toward them. The Pandavas became anxious. It seemed that blazing missiles were springing into existence on every part of the battlefield. Wherever their warriors were stationed, a shower of weapons fell from the sky. The Pandava army was enveloped in a mass of arrows and darts. The troops fell by thousands, cut to pieces by the relentless assault. The Pandava heroes tried to resist the attack, but harder they tried, the worse it became. The more it was resisted, the more force the Narayana Astra seemed to have. Seeing his army being scorched, Yudhishthira shouted the order to retreat. His panic-stricken voice rose above the din of the falling missiles, striking his soldiers' armor and shields. Flee for your lives. Do not look back. This weapon cannot be repelled. Surely this is a result of killing our sinless preceptor. I and my brothers will enter blazing fire. O warriors, go back to your homes. Krishna told Yudhishthira to remain calm. He knew how to resist the weapon. Standing on Arjuna's chariot, he called, "All you Kshatriyas, quickly throw aside your weapons and come down from your chariots and elephants. Lie flat on the ground without weapons. Do not attempt to fight this weapon, for that will only increase its power. If you even think of contending with the weapon, you will be slain." Hearing Krishna's words, the warriors cast aside their weapons and threw themselves to the ground. The missile generated by the Narayana weapon passed harmlessly over their heads. Bhima saw the soldiers dropping their weapons and he shouted, "No, one should lay aside his arms. Do not fear this weapon hurled by Asvatthama. I will personally check its power with my swift flying arrows. Striking Drona's son with countless shafts, I will send him along the path taken by his father. O Arjuna, how can you lay aside the Gandiva and lose your fame and glory? Stand and fight. I will bear the brunt of this weapon on my broad chest. Today you will all behold my prowess." Arjuna called back, "Bhima, my woe is that I will not use the Gandiva against Brahmins, cows, and any weapon of the holy Lord Narayana. Against all this will I lay it aside? You too should stand down, O hero. This all-devouring weapon cannot be checked by the force of arms." Bhima paid no heed to Arjuna and rushed at the Kauravas. Oblivious to the thick shower of missiles filling the air, he stood on his chariot, releasing fierce steel arrows at Asvatthama. Drona's son smiled and resisted Bhima's attack, cutting down all his shafts as they came towards him. As all the Pandava warriors lay down on the battlefield, the Narayana Astra concentrated its full force on Bhima. He became completely shrouded by blazing missiles appearing like a sacrificial fire, suddenly sprung on the field. No one could even look at him, so brilliant was his glowing effulgence beneath the attack of the Narayana Astra. Seeing his brother's plight, Arjuna invoked the Varuna weapon. The watery weapon covered Bhima, affording him protection from the ever-increasing power of Narayana weapon. But Arjuna knew it would not be long before his impetuous brother was overpowered. Krishna suddenly jumped from his chariot and ran toward Bhima, telling Arjuna to come with him. The two heroes plunged fearlessly into the mass of fire surrounding Bhima. They seized hold of him and dragged him from his chariot. Bhima roared in anger as Arjuna tore his weapons from his grasp. In an urgent voice, Krishna said, "O son of Pandu, what do you think you are doing? If it were possible to check this weapon, we would all be fighting. Be still and do not act so foolishly." Reluctantly, Bhima assented to Krishna's instructions. He lay still with his weapons put aside. The Narayana Astra receded. Numerous missiles went into the sky and soon vanished. When the battlefield was again clear of the missiles, the Pandavas got to their feet and took up their weapons. Saved from a great danger by Krishna's advice, they mounted their chariots and horses and roared out their battle cries. Duryodhana was annoyed to see that his foes had escaped. He approached Asvathamma and said, "Quickly send that weapon again, for the Pandavas have rallied and will attack with all their power." Asvatthama shook his head. The Narayana weapon can be used only once by a man. If invoked again, it will slay the person using it. Krishna knew the secret of countering this weapon, and it has been baffled. Like this, Krishna foiled the attempts of Asvatthama to kill the Pandavas. This shows that Lord Krishna always protects his devotees whenever they are in any kind of danger.